Welcome to Mountain Valley with Chucky Boy and Tammy Joe, and it is day 5 of our Jessie tree. And our ornament for today is a little cute lamb. Now, there are lots of things I think of in the Bible when you think of a lamb, but you're going to have to wait and see what our lamb represents tonight. Now, yesterday we left off with Isaac and the call of Isaac to move on from his family. And Isaac, God's going to make great nations out of him, but he's got to have children first. But his wife is barren, and they're in old age. But God blesses them, and they have a son, and they name him Isaac. It's the only son that they have. And then God asks this big thing of Abraham. And in the 22nd chapter, he tells Abraham, I want you to take your son up on the mountain that I will show you, and you will sacrifice him to me. Now, I don't know about you all, but that sounds pretty scary. But Abraham gets up the next morning and he chops the wood and he gets his donkeys and 2 of his servants around and his son, and they load up and they go to the mountain that God shows them. And Abraham takes the wood off the donkeys and puts it on his son's back and takes fire and leaves the servants and the donkeys behind. And him and Isaac start trekking up this mountain. And while they're going up, Isaac goes, Father. He's like, yes, son. He goes, we have the wood, we have the fire, but we don't have the lamb for the sacrifice. And Abraham says this amazing thing. In verse 8 of chapter 22, he says, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. So the 2 of them walked on together. They get to the place on the mountain to make the sacrifice. And Abraham and Isaac, they pile up the wood for the burnt offering. And he lays his son down on the altar. And he reaches out his hand to grab the knife. And an angel speaks out to Abraham and says, Abraham, Abraham, do not touch that boy. And behind Abraham is a young ram tangled up in the thicket. And he takes that young ram and sacrifices it in the place of his son, Isaac. What great faith. We know from the story of Abraham, he does some things right, he does some things wrong. But when it comes down to it, as he's walking up with his only son, knowing he has to sacrifice him, he knows that God will provide the lamb that they need for the burnt offering. What great faith Abraham had to provide for what he needed at that time and that place in his life. And I hope as we go through this wonderful season that you will find the faith in God to continue on and know that he will always provide what you need. May God bless you, and may you have a great day.